to India Tomorrow, your go-to podcast for everything shaping the future of travel in and around the Indian subcontinent. We will bring you the latest insights, trends, and stories defining India's dynamic travel landscape. Whether it's global shifts influencing Indian tourism or developments within the country that the world needs to know. Join us as we decode the future of travel in India. I'm Kiran, a product professional passionate about building data-driven user-centric solutions. I've worked on global scale products, consulted organizations on tech adoption, and I'm always exploring how innovation is shaping the future of travel and aviation.
Hey everyone, I'm Mohit and I've been a learner in the airline and travel tech world for over 2 decades. I also work as a product manager for flights here at ticket.com in Jakarta. We've got an exciting lineup today covering major aviation updates in India, key trends across Asia, and a quick deep dive into global travel news.
Oh man, we've got a power-packed episode today, starting from Air India shopping for new jets, IndiGo making moves in Europe, and Air India employees being forced into economy class, and no more business class perks for them. We also will be talking about the domestic air travel boom, and I think something that you're very curious and passionate about was Skyscanner's new drops feature, which I would really love to understand a little more from you on that. And Belgium, of all the places, wants more direct flights to India. So let's just get started. For all you listeners, grab your cup of chai, settle in, and let's dive in.
All right, I think let's start with the big news first. So Air India is about to drop a fact check onto some 30 to 40 new wide-body jets. We are talking about Airbuses, 350s, Boeing 777Xs, that kind of plane that would make long-haul flying better. I think the long-term vision over here is very clear from Air India. They have a clear vision to make Indians fly direct to any point in the world.
I completely agree. And I think they also need it. If you look at all the other full service carriers around the world, like Emirates, Qatar, Singapore Airlines, they all have newer planes. And so you can't do with the old crafts. And I think that's something that Air India is really realizing and deciding to, move on from that, get newer aircrafts and make it a full service carrier, which makes a huge difference for the Indian market.
The new CEO has made a good effort to rebrand Air India as one of the top global airlines. I see a lot of content being put out there when it comes to the new business class offering or, the meals on board. Every now and then some other news or companies which is not favorable for them. If they keep on adding more routes which are international and non-stop to many destinations, do you think this will make tickets cheaper?
I don't think that will happen immediately. Better aircraft definitely means better services and hopefully fewer delays. I think it's very early for us to comment on that, but I'm really looking forward to see the extent Air India can grow from here on.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Imagine booking a flight, reserving a hotel, and filing your expense report, all during your favorite coffee break at your desk. That's what Italite makes possible, a modern, all-in-one platform for business travel and expenses. Why choose Italite? Because we combine smart technology with effortless workflows, helping companies save money while making travel simpler and faster for employees. Italite, the smarter way to travel for work. Discover more at italite.com.
All employees in Air India, including senior management, will now have to fly economy. No more upgrades to business class unless seats are empty right before departure. This is basically the norm that gets followed in most of the airlines. What do you think about this, Kiran?
Just imagine being a VP or an VP and sitting next to two uncles on a flight. I think that has got to hurt the employees. But it's a very good move. I think it's time that Air India did make this change. I think, like you mentioned, all the other airlines around the world, they have these policies, but Air Indian employees were enjoying the perks of being the employees and getting business class tickets. I think it's time that they also realize that there's a lot more way for them to earn that revenue and generate more revenue. Going to bring a lot of ouch moments for the employees, but definitely a good move.
But to be fair, I think it makes sense. They need to make those premium seats available for paying customers. That is how the revenue will go up. As I was mentioning earlier, this has been long due. I'm really surprised that this took this much time.
And if there are any Air India employees listening to this podcast, if you do have any thoughts or feedback, please, hit us up. We would want to know what exactly you have in mind and how has this change impacted you all to know so even our listeners can further know about it. I am very, very curious to see or at least hear from the employees themselves as to what they think because, like I said, it's a huge move. It's after so many years that they've decided this, so it's going to definitely hurt. I would like to talk about IndiGo's big plans to hit the European market. It's definitely going to hurt a lot of other full service carriers that fly to Europe from India. It's definitely a good move. IndiGo is getting into long haul flights and they're planning direct flights to Europe using a Boeing 787.
IndiGo's move has really come as a surprise, flying into Europe. They will fly into Amsterdam and Manchester. Do you think it will be still budget friendly?
That's the big question. I think they'll try to undercut Emirates and Qatar Airways. When I was actually checking to fly out from India to Dubai the last time I was in India, IndiGo was way higher compared to Emirates and Etihad. And I was actually quite surprised to see that. We'll have to wait and watch and see how well they're able to price these tickets.
One request to IndiGo's network planning team from my side is start something Delhi Jakarta non-stop. They have something around Mumbai Jakarta, but none of the carriers are flying directly to Jakarta. Do that. Same request to Air India.
From the European market, I feel like there are so many other travel destinations, even in Asia, that require direct connectivity from India. If you look at it today, Asia is being explored the most. Those are also sectors that can be tapped in by IndiGo. And obviously, the European market is a deal breaker for them. In time, I think the network planning team in IndiGo would ideally also, I think, expand into bringing in direct flights from the Asian countries to India. It's a huge market.
India's domestic air travel is booming, 16% above pre-pandemic levels. We're getting there, Kiran.
I also read this and I think it was an insane number of growth. And also, to be fair, I travel quite a bit within India as well. And the flights nowadays are packed. There's no place. Back in the day, you could at least get one seat next to you to also keep your bags. It's completely packed and people are flying like never before. Airlines have ramped up their frequencies, improved their onboard and offboard services. That's what making flying more appealing. Technology is also playing a very vital role in this. People are able to book from anywhere. You sit in any corner of India today with the network you have, you can book a flight.
I think the airlines and the OTAs specifically Make My Trip, Yatra, Clear Trip. I think these guys, Ixigo, they have done a good work to remove user bookability friction, and it's really convenient for the users. The choice that you have is a 20-hour train ride, or you just take an hour flight. As you were mentioning, packed flights, skyrocketing fares, no more middle seats.
It's exciting. It's definitely exciting for the aviation industry. I would want to understand something from you, Mohit, because I remember you sharing this information with me and I was quite surprised to see it about Skyscanner's drop feature, which is definitely a game changer when I read it. How does it work? I'm very, very curious. Is it only when there's like exclusive limited time flight deals or is it happening on a daily basis? How are they doing this?
This is really a game changer. Skyscanner has always been innovating on many fronts, and I think kudos to our product peers. Shout out to Mohit at Skyscanner. Let me tell you and our audience a little bit about it. Skyscanner did analyze some trends. So this activity had started around January 2025. They have identified several trends, including, Friday being the most popular day for drops, which means people are trying to book mostly on a Friday. Goa topping the list of domestic destination with most drop. That makes sense.
Absolutely. While you were talking about Goa, something just popped up, in my head. Recently, I read an article about how Goan tourism is dropping massively because of one, I think they've become more expensive. I read an article where it said traveling to Southeast Asian countries is way more cheaper than traveling to Goa. Hotels have become expensive, and there are a lot more other factors that are influencing this drop. That's something that's very scary because Goa has been one of the prime destinations for India, definitely booming the economy in many, many ways. But when I read that news, I was actually quite shocked. And I really think the government needs to do something about it because this can't work. Goa has a great destination for a very, very long time.
What you are saying held true for Kerala for most people in the north. If you are planning a trip to Kerala from up north, it is much cheaper to go to any southeast destination like Bangkok or even Vietnam. For sure, all the destinations, if I compare it with Bali, it has become very expensive. All these destinations which attracts large tourists are under pressure of getting more expensive. It's basically a supply demand game. It has to be something done around it to make it more affordable for the general public. Brussels airports wants direct flights to India. Right now, there's no direct connection between Belgium and India. They're like, we need to fix that. What do you think about this one?
Makes sense because India's trade and tourism with Europe is currently booming. People want to travel from India, and Brussels is a major hub. But the real question here is going to be who's going to launch these flights? Is it going to be Air India, Vistara, or is it going to be IndiGo? We never know.
Vistara is already merged with Air India, so they're one group now. Indigo is already out with the announcement of the two European destinations. My bet would be on Air India. We'll find out.
For some global travel news, Google has rolled out a new travel planning tool. What's happening there, Mohit? Any idea?
Yes, this is very interesting, but before that, let me and, as our audience and you, Kiran, do you know how much does travel brands spend on Google ads each year?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I presume the big four online agencies, maybe like, Airbnb, Expedia, Trip.com, Booking.com. I'm not sure. It could be roughly around $16 billion or something. I think I did read it was maybe $17 billion in 2024, if I'm not mistaken.
You're right. You're right. So while not solely on Google Ads, a significant portion of this would be allocated to them, ranging between 8 to $8.7 billion each year.
Wow, that's a big number.
Hence the speculation with these stories when Google announces something that Google will someday become an OTA, doesn't look to be true because the revenue potential with ads staying that way is much more bigger. But they're very sure to own the search space and, make tools which are more user friendly and eases out the search and planning piece. With this particular announcement, they will be rolling out new features for its Maps, Lens, and Gemini, which will enable users to build itineraries with the help of AI and also track hotel prices.
That's insane. I mean, I think Google is really killing it. And, the funny story that I read just yesterday was Google attaching GoPros to camels in the deserts of UAE to be able to get street view of the desert from camels' perspective. So I think, Google is really killing it in the market. And I also read that specifically mentioned for travel agencies, they want to help them to be more productive in their roles in helping travelers build better itineraries and try to understand different destinations and explore different destinations. So it's definitely a game changer.
I can give them an ideation, or they would have already thought is put GoPros on fishes, explore the bottom of the ocean also. Okay, moving on to another global story. This one again from the United States. Tourism is facing a significant decline in international visitors. There are many reasons to blame here. Tariffs and travel policies being the primary ones. You open the news channel and Mr. Trump is all over it. And what do you think about this one, Kiran?
I mean, for how strict they are with their visas, I think, the initial forecast that I at least read from the news that I've been following is a 9.4% drop in arrivals this year. So that literally is like doubling the previous estimate. This is going to definitely affect all industries in the US, especially airlines, hotels, and other tourism dependent businesses. And I think there's a lot more factors when it comes to the US that I've at least heard of personally. There have been a lot of stories about them being hosts to tourism. So, and there are a lot of other destinations today that are able to host people better. So I think that's something that, US will really need to step up to. I don't know. Again, that's my view. What do you think?
It's not very good news for them, especially for our football fans, for the inbound tourism to the US. They
Yeah.
were set to host the majority of the 2026 FIFA World Cup, and these steps would definitely come as a bummer. But I think because I also read a little bit about Mr. Trump's policies, and he's not doing anything that he didn't promise. This should not come as a surprise. From a tourism perspective, inbound tourism, people coming in, spending huge amounts of money. If you shut that door, you need to have a backup plan, right?
And data speaks. I think that's something that we really need to iterate here. Data really speaks. And with the percentage of drop that they've seen, with them being able to estimate that these many $1 billion could be the loss that they're going to face, I think that's something that they really need to look into because that doesn't lie. And, the new travel ban, immigration policies being so strict, I don't think that's going to help the cause at all. I think it's just going to make it even worse. People are going to refuse to go to places like that because, again, like I mentioned, there are a lot more destinations that are being more open to tourism today, and they are being more open to having people from different cultures visiting them.
I heard a story recently about a German national being detained for 19 days who had a valid visa.
I think that we discussed a lot today, and it's time for us to wrap up today's episode. We did talk about Air India's Jet Spree, IndiGo's Europe flights, Skyscanner's new drops feature, and so much more. I really would like to thank the audience for staying with us and for actually listening to us. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe, share, and definitely leave us a review. And any feedback, we would love to hear it from you. Thanks once again.
All right, guys, until next time, happy travels and safe flights.
Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring. This is your podcast, India Tomorrow, signing off.